Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I haven't been on for a minute. I've been going through a lot of personal stuff, but anyway, I watched a video the other day and it got me really inspired. So I just want to share with you guys the challenge. It is Nick the Booksmith. She had come up with a deserted island challenge, and basically what you do is you have a fanny pack, you have 4 given items, you have needle and thread, which is this one here, needle and my thread. I used just a cotton yarn. It's 100% cotton. I had it available, and I just bought a bunch of needles because I wanted to get into journaling, and then I saw this video and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So anyway, I have the needle and thread. Another give-in was scissors. You could have one single pair of scissors or cutting utensil, but you couldn't swap in between the project. So you pick one and you stick with that one throughout the entirety of the project. There was an exception. If you chose chipboard, you could cut the chipboard with like an actual cutting machine, because obviously nobody wants anybody to hurt themselves. So, but with that exception, you have one single cutting utensil throughout the entire project. Same thing goes with glue. You could have a single type of glue, and you could not swap in and out. You couldn't go between, you know, glue and tape and then choose different types of glue. You could only pick one. The type of glue that I picked was Mod Podge, because I wanted to play with the cover. And this was very interesting because she gives you the glue, but she does not give you an applicator for the glue. So if you use something like Mod Podge, you're using your fingers, and that's it's very fun. I fortunately have a mat it's actually a Mod Podge mat. So what I did was I poured glue. I made like a little pile of glue and then just dip. I did a lot of that. So let's see, your give-ins were your needle and thread, your glue, your scissors, and your filler paper. So anybody who has watched my channel knows that I don't really do journaling. It is something that I've been interested in, but I haven't really been able to just dive into it. So I don't have a stash of tea-dyed paper, coffee-dyed paper. Like, my stash of paper consists of a bajillion scrapbook pages from, you know, the scrapbook paper, but you're not allowed to use that. You can only use filler paper, such as notebook paper that's been coffee dyed or stained. You could use stark white if you wanted to, which I would be interested in seeing something like that, to use the stark white, you know, notebook paper. I chose to go with paper bags because they're already, you know, colored, and I like the sound of them. So that's something that I do with my paper crafting. Is maybe I'm weird in that, but the texture of the paper matters to me because I like the feel of it, like what it feels like. That's what's interesting to me, and what it sounds like. Anyway, I like the feel and I love the sound of paper bags. So I played with some paper bags, and those were my give-ins. And you have 4. So you have your glue, you have your scissors, you have your needle and thread, and your filler paper. Then she gave you 4 additional items that you could put into your fanny pack before you got stranded on this island. So we're gonna set this aside. And as you guys can see, I have my book finished. It's over here. And we'll go over that in just a minute. I just wanted to go over what I chose. So my choices were, I'm missing something, I know it. I've completely gone blank. Maybe I only used 3. I feel like I had 4. Oh, I did. Okay. Okay, so the 4 that I chose was the ink, because she gave you the applicator with the ink, because that would be a little crazy. The glue, on the other hand, she did not give you the applicator for, so you had to get creative. But she did give you the applicator for the ink, so I chose the ink. The one that I chose was Potting Soil by Archival Ink, made by Ranger. I chose a roll of washi tape. I really like this one. I actually have quite a few of the ones that are larger like this. I actually bought them probably about 6 months ago, and they've been sitting because I wasn't really sure what to do with them. But I do enjoy this one. This says treaty. I don't know if you can see that. And then it's got various things on it, writings, and it's got like a little skeleton animal. I'm not sure. It's got some flowers. I'm not sure how much of this you can see and how much of it is just a big glare. But that is the one washi roll that I chose. And I kept going back and forth between this one and this one, because this one has a globe on it. And I really, really, really enjoy that. But I ended up choosing the other one. I have fuzz on my ring. Okay, so I chose my one washi tape here, my ink here, and crepe paper. I chose a roll of crepe paper. And so any of you guys that have visited my channel know that I enjoy crepe paper. I can do a lot with it because I'm a paper crafter. I'm not necessarily a junk journal maker person, but I'm a paper crafter. So I enjoy playing with different types of paper. So this was fun for me. I got a roll of crepe paper, and there's some left. Y'all would be proud. There's actually a lot left. And then the fourth item that I got was the book itself. I used a gutted out book. I don't have one handy to show you an empty one, but that's what I had used. So the book itself, the tape, the ink, and the crepe paper. Those are my 4 items. Given, needle and thread, glue, scissor, paper. Your 4 extra items, I chose the book, tape, ink, and crepe paper. So what I did with this was actually, in hindsight, she said this. She even said this, like, you're going to go through and you're going to like be like, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. And in hindsight, I'm definitely going through that, you know, in hindsight feel, I guess you could say. And pardon my voice, I happen to want to film this video right now because I have an appointment and I'm going to have like my whole arm bandaged. So I don't want to make a video when my arm is bandaged. So I'm making the video right now and my voice is like, anyway. I wish that I would have chose something that had a little bit more diversity with the color, because it seems all very like monotone-ish, because it's all very muted. Other than that, I really enjoy how it turned out. I do like it a lot. I made a bookmark. Also, if you're familiar with me, then you know that I also enjoy playing with yarn, which is why I chose the thread that I did, because I wanted to be able to play with it a little bit. I wish I would have been able to grab a hook as well, because I would have made some stuff for this with a hook, but I didn't know what to take away. I didn't know, maybe the crepe paper, maybe, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So this is my book. Let's see if I can change this just a smidge. I don't know if that made it worse or better. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll just open up the window. No, gosh, no. It's rainy outside. I live in Washington. It's always raining. So anyway, this is my book. And move this up just a smidge. There we go. Oh, maybe that helped. That's a lot better. Okay, so this is the cover. And this is my bookmark. And so what I did with this, it's actually quite simple. I had my daughter help me because I only have so many hands and fingers. But, and maybe that's cheating because, you know, you're on a deserted island. I didn't even think about that until right this second. But I'm sure I could have figured it out anyway. I take this and I just wrap it around my fingers like a whole bunch. And once you get that loop, you just take an extra piece and you tie it in between here and here, and then you cut these loops. I'll show you guys one day, and it makes a pom-pom. So it's pretty cute. And I did make it the length of the book. so it hung out the other side because it is meant to be a bookmark. So you could just, you know, do like that. And then here's the pages as I'm throwing my applicator everywhere. So, well, let's go over the cover a little bit. So the cover was kind of cool to make. What I did with this is I had the book cover itself, and then I covered the paper, or covered the cover. Oh, there's a deer outside my window. Sorry, squirrel. Anyway, so I covered the book cover with the crepe paper. Now what that did was it gave the book a lot of texture, and that is something that I really wanted to like hone in on. And what I after that, so this book actually took me like 4 days to make, because as well as a brush for that glue, I did not have my heating tool because I didn't have, you know, electric outlet to plug it into. So this took me a very long time to make. Once the crepe paper was dried, I then took one of my paper bags, and I had cut it, you know, basically all I did was this. Yeah. And I kept those. I kept these. You'll see in a minute. But I took this and I crumpled it up, and then I unfolded it, and then I wrapped it around the book, and it gave me that nice crinkly feel. And then I took my ink, and I didn't even use the applicator. Honestly, I barely used the applicator. I took my ink, I opened it up, and I went, whoop, and I just did that all over. I did put the paper on top of the layer of washi. So I put the washi first and then the paper. I went in backwards order. My bad. This is a combination of paper, washi, and the crepe paper. So with the crepe paper, the little rosettes or pinwheels or whatever you call these things, those were interesting to make because I had to take my crepe paper. We're just going to take a little piece here. And I thought about filming the process of this book, but like I said, it took me 4 days to make. So I didn't want to do that. But what I did was I had my little pile of glue here. I took the edge of the crepe paper and I sat it down in the glue and went whoop, all the way through until there was glue on the bottom side of the crepe paper. And then I just made my little rosette just like I normally would. But this part was nice and glue and tacky, or sticky and tacky. So it was very interesting to make. I did not make them this quickly. I promise you that. It was, it was very interesting. So there's that. Because I didn't have my stapler. There's a lot of things you miss when you only have 4 items to play with. So I had my little rosette. This one here, I don't know if you guys can see, this one here on the bottom, on the bottom here, right here. That one is the crepe paper with the washi tape lined on top of it, and then I made the little rosette. And then I made the little circle with the crepe paper here. And then this one here is just, it's a couple pieces glued together of the paper bag. It sounds really cool because it's nice and thick. It's like 5 different pages glued together. That booger is thick. And then this one here is the crepe paper. I folded it up like this and went snap. And then I made a little rosette out of that, or circle, or whatever you want to call it. And then there's a little stick of washi right on top. These look like, what is it when you get an envelope? The stamps that they put on the envelopes. Anyway, that's what those look like. I don't know if you can see that. And there's even first class right there. And some numbers. Okay, so let's open it up. So then on the inside, I have the washi tape cover on the inside as well. And same thing, I just, because I have you might be able to see the little bit right here, the real dark area right there. That is the crepe paper where I had, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it first. And I don't know about you guys, but I always start a project, I dive in head first, and then I like change it 90,000 different ways before it's done. I probably end up with an idea that I didn't start with. That's almost guaranteed with every one of my projects. So I think I started out with trying to put like an accent piece of the crepe paper across the cover, and that's where that came from. And then I was just like, nope, F this, I'm going this way. So I did. And then this is actually a few of the washies, like, cause it's long, it's wide, but it's not quite that wide. Like I might have, nope, I wouldn't have been able to do it that way. So I just did it across here, and because I didn't have a ruler, the edges are quite jagged. And then this is just a piece of the crepe paper just to add some dimension and some character inside. It's just some washi tape. And this is just a folded over piece of the paper. Let's see if I can find a blank one. Like this. I just folded it over like so, and then I glued it and just made it thicker, and that's what ended up to be that. And it's just like this little flappy flap. I don't know, it's cute. So this did say treaty, but then I cut the T off like a dummy, but now it says Reedy, so you know, hey, whatever. Some more washi. I did not do that big heavy ink on the pages. I did a little, but not nearly like I did the cover. And then this one, same thing. I folded the page over. Like I glued it on the sides here, and then I just folded it like that to create that other pocket right here and the pocket right here. So I have a tag. Some of these are thicker than others because at this point when I was making the tags, honestly, I was tired of washing my hands like 50 times because I would have to wait for everything to dry. So I'd have to play with the glue. I'd have to wait for everything to dry, and then I'd play with the glue again, and then I'd have to wait for everything to dry. So I was washing my hands like 17 times a day. It was crazy. And something interesting about me is I'm allergic to something in the soap. So the more I wash my hands, the more my hands dry, crack, and it's not a pretty sight. Some of them, like I said, some of them are thicker than others. Like this one, I believe, is only 2 layers of the paper. Whereas this one here, you can hear the difference. Maybe, I don't know. This is like 2 layers, and this is like 3 or 4 layers. And this is just a little tag, you know, whatever. Just to say, hey, you can put stuff here. Let's see, what else? We got some washi. I've got another little circly thingy. Same thing here that I did with the little rosette. Basically, I just cut a strip of the washi and I lined it with the top of the crepe paper. I made my little circle, and then I put just kind of like a tattered strip of the washi straight in the middle. That was my biggest obstacle with this crepe paper, was trying to find that center piece. Because a lot of times I'll have, like, you know, even just grabbing anything from my desk, I will just put it right in the middle and be like, oh, look, that's so pretty. But I didn't have that. And by the way, I got these from Tracy. I love these things. And here's another little tuck spot. This is, remember how I said, oh, I kept those? So this right here is one of these. All I did was I tore all the way around until I had, and tearing this stuff when it's super thick like this is fun. Until I had this little piece. And then I just glued on the edges here and made my little tag. The tag is a piece of paper covered with the washi tape, and then I cut it out. And I made my tags with the needle and thread. You just poke the holes, which is a lot more difficult than some of these ladies have made it seem. Because I've seen people doing threading, like hand stitched threading. Oh my gosh, there is no way my hands could tolerate that, because just punching this little piece through the washi, through a couple layers of paper, like, that's hard. Like, I really wanted my pokey tool, like my little, what's it called? The jabby jab, the owl. I actually broke my owl, but I still wanted one. Anyway, moving on. So I made this tag. I did not do the punchy punch here because like I just said, that was actually quite painful. The pages were hard enough, and then I started doing it with the paper on top of that, and I was like, oh, what did I get myself into? So with this one, all I did was I glued the tassels, if you will, to the back of the tag, and then glued the tag to the paper. So I figured it would give it a little bit of dimension as well, because it's, you know, it's a tag, but it's attached. Skipped a page, another pocket, another tag. There's a lot of blankish papers here, so it's another little tuck spot. You could put, you know, whatever you want there. There's actually two there, not there. This, I don't know, I think that it kind of come out cool, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just kind of put it somewhere. I wanted to use it, but I didn't know where. Is another tuck spot. It's a corner piece. Oh, and this is a little tiny booklet, which I think is kind of cute. And basically all I did with this was I just took some of the scraps. Like, because when I made the pages, if you can see, they're all ripped. But I just took some of the scraps, I folded it a few times, and then I took my scissors and went yoink, like this, quite a few times. Anyway, you get the idea. It didn't do that, as you can see. Because they're all pretty slick edges. I just took my scissors and I went across the corners, or across the folds, and I made this. And then I just used the yarn for the tie. And then there's a little washi. I cut that out to make it a little bit more clean cut, to contrast the tatteredness everywhere. And that's something that I missed working in this particular project, was the ability to make contractions so abundant, I guess is the right word. The contrast is just not there for me. I still think it came out pretty cute. This is one of these, but I glued it to another one of these to make a thicker one. And then these pockets are basically, I take the paper, I fold it in half like this, and then I fold it over and glue it. That's it. I did glue the bottom too. There's the middle of the signature. I had to look up a couple of videos on the signatures because I thought my threading was going to show on the back, but I ended up covering the book, so it didn't really matter. But I'm glad I did, because my threading is, I mean, it's neat. It's neat. This is actually the third journal that I have made. So I'll make other videos to show you guys the other journals that I've made. But I was pleasantly surprised how neat these came out, and you'll see why when you see my other journals. Another pocket. Nope. Another page, another pocket. This one's glued. There we go. So this one, same thing. I just did the washi on top of the crepe paper, and then I put it on top of one of my little bottom bag card doohickeys. And then in the center, again, with the whole, I don't have anything to put there. Basically, all I did was I took my ink. This is one time I did use my applicator. And I went like this, and I went, ching, until there was a nice little circle there. And that's what I did with that. I did leave the side of this open to make it more of like a folder type thing instead of a pocket. Let's see, empty page. This is just a thicker page, flap, empty page, pocket. Empty page. Another thicker one. But see how clean that is? Like, oh my gosh. And that's weird because I didn't have a roller for these. That is, and I did have a roller for my other journals, but I learned in hindsight with my other journals, you cut, or you get your papers to the right size, and then you punch, or mark, and then you punch. You don't mark and then cut your paper and then punch. It doesn't work that way. You cut your paper, then you mark, and then you cut, or then you punch, or what. Anyway, this is why I don't do journal videos, because I don't know what I'm talking about. But another pocket, and then the rest of these, I believe, are just regular old pages. And then this is the back cover with the washi on the outside, and then this is the backpack. So, and that's it. And like I said, I really enjoyed that video that I watched of hers for several reasons. One, it got me like out of my funk. Like, there was a lot of personal issues going on with me, and it kind of pulled me out of that funk. And so I don't think that I can say thank you enough to Miss Nick, the Booksmith. But she had got me out of that. I ended up creating this, and then lo and behold, look, I'm making a video for you guys again. So hopefully this is a start to a new chapter in my life to bring back my channel, because that would be awesome. And I will go and try to make videos for those other books. But thank you so much, Miss Nick. I will try to remember to put a link to her challenge. Her challenge is good until November 17th, so you guys have plenty of time if you guys want to try it out. And I did want to mention something as well with the paper bags, because I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't have tea or dye or coffee dyed paper. So something that I did, I was going to do it again, like I was going to do the challenge again, but I didn't want to create a video with like a bunch of bandages on my hands. So I'm getting more tattoos on my arms. That's all it is. Yeah, I didn't want to make a video with a bunch of bandages on my arms, so I just went ahead and printed them out so I could show you guys. So filler paper is something that she gave you guys. If you don't have filler paper, what I suggest you do is you can take like just regular copy paper. There is an image that she has specifically. You do have to buy it. It's like $4, I think, for the pack. It might be one of her more expensive ones. I'm not sure. But you get a lot of different images for that $4. It's not just the one image. You get like 12 different images, I think. Anyway, I zoomed in 150%. So basically, it looks like I'm printing, or it looks like it's notebook paper that has been coffee dyed and stained, because the idea is to mimic what coffee dyed and tea stained paper would look like on notebook paper. But I don't have that, so I printed it. And like I said, I zoomed in about 150% to make sure all of the pictures were off, make sure all of the different writings and such were off, because I didn't want to, you know, be like cheating or nothing like that. So that is one option that you guys can do. And then you could do what I did and just use paper bags. So I do plan on using these for our journal. Maybe not necessarily today, because I have an appointment in a little while. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Please go check out her video. She's very inspiring, and it's just, oh, you could do so much with so little. Who knew? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.